Hello YouTube. Thank you guys for joining me. Today we're going to be making a doll chair. I have a Monster High doll, so I think they're about 10.5 to 11-inch dolls. If you have a bigger doll, then use a bigger box, and I think it'll work just the same. But first of all, we're going to start off by measuring a width for our chair. I'm going to do 3 inches, so I'm just going to draw 3 inches around the entire box. Sides and back, and then I'm going to cut away the tabs. We're not going to be needing those. If you want to save them for another project, you can. I save all my paper. You never know when you'll need them, or you can trash them. We're not going to need them for this project. After you cut your tabs off, go ahead and cut on the line that you drew that measures your 3 inches or however many inches you measured for your width. And once you get it all cut, you should have something like this. This is the base of our chair, and we're going to take our doll and set her inside the chair and match her elbow up to the side and just draw a small line to show you where you're going to have the arm of your chair come up to. And then also the back of the chair. I'm going to do right at her cheekbone. You can do a high back chair, a low back chair, whatever you want. It's your project, so customize it the way you like. Now I'm going to draw a line all the way across for the arm of the chair. Measure it and draw a line on the other side so that they're even. You don't want a lopsided chair, so be precise on this step. Then on the back of the chair, draw the shape that you want. I'm just going to draw a dome shape. You can draw whatever you want. And then next we're going to cut just the back out. Do not cut the sides off. We're just going to cut down to the black line and then around the frame of the back of the chair. And you should have this. Next, take a pencil and we're just going to curl those sides down. Curl them down to the black line. Don't curl them all the way down. Just curl them down to the black line. And once you have them curled, you should have this. Starting to look like a chair. Next, we're going to take that other half of the box that we had left over and we're going to set the base of our structure on top of that. And this is going to be the foundation of our chair. So we're going to set our doll inside the chair and make a mark right where you want the bottom of the chair to be. Do remember that we will be adding a cushion later, so I'm going to mark just right above her heels because that cushion will boost her up a little more. Next, we're going to draw a line all the way around our box so that we can have a straight, even cut. And we're just going to cut that out. And you should have 2 pieces. The flap piece we're going to glue to the sides and have the middle part cover the open space on our cut box. And once you have everything glued down and secured, you should have this. And I'm just going to show you that my chair sits in there pretty nice. I have extra cardboard up on the side. You might not, but if you don't worry. It'll work just the same. Next, we're going to take a piece of cardboard and we're going to fit it inside the base of the chair. We want to cut it to fit inside the lowest part, which is the front part of mine. If it's even all around for you, it doesn't matter where you measure it at. But we're going to need 2. So then we're going to fit those in, make sure they slide in easily. And once you've checked that they do slide in easily, then we're going to go ahead and glue them. I use hot glue because it dries faster. Elmer's glue or white school glue works just the same. So feel free to use that if you don't have a hot glue gun. Next, we're going to glue the chair down into the base. And then you'll start to see a nice looking chair. Also, if you are using Elmer's glue, just remember to give it time to dry. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit more foundation into our seat. So trace the bottom of your chair, which you might have to cut a little more off for it to slide in. Make sure it slides in perfectly and comfortably. And then we're just going to glue that into the seat of the chair. This is going to help keep your chair nice and sturdy, and it's just going to last longer. You can skip this step if you feel you want to, but I would recommend definitely put the base in there. It helps keep your furniture a lot longer. Next, we're going to draw the outline of the back of our chair for the fabric, and we're going to do our sides, which you need 2 for the arms. Make them just a little bit wider than what your arms are, because we're going to be folding the fabric over just to give it a clean look. So cut those out, and then after you cut those out, then we're going to trace the back of the chair. When you do the back of the chair, make sure you fold the fabric over to make sure it covers the entire side of the chair. You should have 2 rectangles sticking out of the side, and then trace the base, the back of the chair. So you should have a shape almost like this. Depending on what you decided to do for the back of your chair will differ slightly. You should have these 4 pieces when done. Next, we're just going to cover the chair. Basically, it's pretty self-explanatory, the pieces you have. The 2 long rectangles go on the arms, and the front of the chair is the long dome topped one, and then the back of the chair has the 2 rectangles out to the side. Also, when you are putting the arm of the chair covers on, you might have to cut a little notch on the side so that it fits better on around the curve. I'm going to cut a slit on both sides where the fabric hangs over, and cut off the excess only at the top. Leave the bottom there. Next, I'm going to lay the fabric over, folding it over to cover the back and the front part of the arm. And then I'm just going to glue my sides that I had left over so that it gives it a clean cover. And we're going to do the other side the same, and then we're going to do the back. I start with the sides first, just so that I know that they're covering the entire side and some of the front. Then do the back part, making sure that it all matches up, and then do the other side. And after you've done that, then we can put on the front of the seat. I start from the top and work my way down. Just seems like it works better that way. Also, when I lay down the front of the chair, I fold my sides in to give it a cleaner look. And then I glue down the bottom, and most of our chair is covered. Next, we're going to glue our arms over, both of them. And you should have a shape similar to this when done. Then we're going to take another piece, just like we did for the base in the seat, and make sure it slides in nice. And we're going to cover it with fabric only on 2 sides. Leave the front and the back open. And we're going to stuff it with fluff. If you don't have fluff, you can use fabric scraps. You can actually even use paper. If you don't have paper or fabric or fluff, cotton balls work fine too. After you've got it the fluffiness that you want, close your sides down. And you should have a nice fluffy cushion. And we're just going to glue that right into our chair. Next, we're going to cover the bottom of our chair. Some of you might have cut your fabric long enough to cover it, and that's fine. If not, take another piece of cardboard that fits the bottom of our chair, and we're just going to cover it with fabric and glue it right to the bottom. If you don't want to put the square piece, you don't have to. If you just want to use fabric, that's fine. I just like to do it because it gives it just a little bit of a cleaner look if you do it this way. So we're just going to glue that right to the bottom. Now, we're going to finish up the chair by putting in the arms. I stuffed mine with fluff. Once again, you use what you have. Scraps will work. Paper works fine for this part because it doesn't have to be fluffy. Then we're going to cover up our filling. I'm going to use crocheted yarn. You feel free to use whatever you want. You can use ribbon. You can use crocheted yarn. If you don't know how to crochet, you can just use regular yarn and just wrap it around. I like yarn because you can move it a little better. It works with you better around the bends and the curves and the edges. So use whatever you want. You can use fabric if you want to, a thin strip of fabric. Or if you've got it to where you have no really noticeable imperfections, you don't have to add this part. The rest of it pretty much is just, decorating it for yourself. So I'm just going to swirl this around the other arm in the back. I'm going to do the exact same thing for the front, going across the front of the seat. So once you have the back done and the front done, you should have a pretty finished chair. Mine looks like this. And then I added a little extra at the bottom. You do what you want, but I hope you enjoyed and have fun creating. Bye.